Hello everyone, hello ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's online webinar on the topic why is securing funding such a crucial factor in a startup's growth and development. I am your host Radhika and we have an exciting discussion lined up for you today. Today we are joined by two esteemed guests with us who will be sharing their insights and experiences in this field. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Mahavir Pratap Sharma and Mr. Praful Chatrapati. So let me first introduce our first guest, Mr. Mahavir Pratap Sharma. He is the chairman and co-founder of the Rajasthan Angel Innovators Network. Sir, our audience would like to know more about your valuable experience in the industry.
Sure. I've been angel investing for almost 10, 12 years. I co-founded Rajasthan Angels and I continue to chair that. I've also been very active in TIE. I've been the global chair for TIE Global Board of Trustees. And also, I currently am holding a position of chairing TIE India Angels, which is the angel investment program for TIE in India. So combined with Rain and Thai India Angels, we have almost 400 plus angel investors in our network. And we do deal flows every month and we raise early stage, idea stage funding for startups that are scalable and which fit our module of helping them with mentoring, handholding, and growth.
Wow, that's wonderful, sir. So I would just jump to our second guest, and we have Mr. Praful Chatrapati. He is, the startup funding coach with 25 years of rich experience as a professional and the entrepreneur. Sir, our audience would, just love to know more about your experience as well. So please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Radhika. I'm coming from a very humble background because initially I worked with some good corporate companies for almost 11 years, keeping that aspiration that one day I will also become an entrepreneur. Fortunately, I managed to do that. In last now 10, 12 years, I've been into entrepreneurship. I built my own companies. I've gone through the process of raising funds and building companies. Very casually and accidentally, I got into this coaching and mentoring business during the COVID period with a simple attempt that I can share my practices and experiences with the youngsters. And I was fortunate to share that my practice is really helping people to not only build their companies, but they are taking the right decisions and making their journey more smooth and better. So I'm happy that my all past experiences and all that practices which I have been invested and during our period it was not that easy. But now those platforms are ready available for the youngsters to make their decisions more firm and better for their growth. So this is important.
That's wonderful. Like I'm truly honored to have both of you today. And so I think we should, get forward and let's dive right into our topic. So Praful sir, like as a startup mentor, as you mentioned that you have, good experience. So could you just, shed some light on why securing funding is such a crucial factor, like when it's come to startup growth and development?
Yeah, see, normally I have observed at the initial stages where people are coming with the ideas. I always suggest people rather than directly jumping on the funding, they should work on initial foundations to be get prepared first. There is a big difference between money and funding because money is something which they look like a shortcut solution. But when you say funding, it is a responsibility because it comes with that expectation that something written will come back. So we work with startups and always suggest funding is very essential and important factor. But at least you have to prove your point that you have that readiness to really propose your right proposition to the right people because at the end, even investors are looking for some right mature expectations from you. So work on something which is helping them to understand that you understand the difference between money and investment. Second, rather than thinking about a growth and bigger aspirations, better to work on the practical aspect to build a survival and a sustainability of the business. Because if you are not in a position or can't even prove that you can handle that pressure and handle that resources to stable and start your business or at least survive on your own, how can you simply show that some resources will come and you will simply make a wonder out of it? So you have to give that enough good hard efforts to really prove your point, and then it is a growth plan. But at the again, funding is something it is taken to casually by youngsters nowadays. It is not just money; it's about finding right resources, and you should not simply think that only money can survive and help you to get all that your things affects. Better to look for a right resources, and money and funding should be taken like a resources that even if it is coming in a right partnership, alliances, collaboration, or in form of right information, that should be also considered like a right funding at the initial phases. Yeah, once you grow, once you get mature at that stage, then you can easily differentiate the difference between money and that take advantage of it. At the early stage, it's better to take money or fund more like a resources. So what will help people to understand. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is
okay.
I'm
I
audible?
think,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think just before that, just your voice a little bit. No worries, no worries. We can continue. Okay, that's
Hmm.
absolutely right. So, like, obviously, like we can say, like securing funding opens a numerous opportunities, like for growth and development. So, like, Mahavir, so like, given your extensive experience, would you like to add your points on why securing funding is a vital for a startup's growth and development? Like, any points?
Oh, so multiple reasons. While I agree with whatever Praful has said,
Yeah,
if the startup's aim is only to raise money and not bring value to its investors, then that startup is definitely going to fail, because unless you
correct.
have your core which is working, unless you do really need the money, it is not advisable to raise money. There's nothing wrong with being bootstrapped and growing. But yes, you're right. If companies have to scale faster, if the companies have to acquire a larger market share, and most startups in India have this stigma of, sir, either they are early mover advantage, they'll say, if there's a new technology, a new product, or they will say that, sir, I am different from others because I'm doing this thing differently and this part is different, so I'll be better than all the others. In both the cases, because there is competition from behind in an early mover advantage, and there's existing competition in case you're doing the model differently, you need to have the funds to reach out to a larger market share before the competition catches up or the competition tries and pivots and does what you're doing. So it's very, very critical that money is needed at that point of time. But and also, at many a times, even if you're profitable, even if you're bootstrapped, even if you're growing at 10-20% month on month, sometimes an external validation, someone outside diluting 1 to 5% of equity, is something that is also advisable, because you might not need the money because you're doing well in your technology, or you're a deep tech, or a company that no one has that technology. But still, an outsider's validation, an advisor, a strategic investor, sometimes money is needed for those situations also. So it's very, very important if one needs money. And if money raising is not the only purpose of the startup to survive, if that is overlooked, money could be needed for scaling up. Money could be needed to get a longer advantage, to
Correct.
compete with the competition before they start to change, or to get an external validation.
Perfect. Wow. So like that's like excellent points you just shared with the audience, and obviously the audience will be finding it very helpful. So like, sir, can we just say that without funding, scaling can be a slow procedure? Like potentially we will be missing out some valuable market opportunities, right?
Absolutely. So once you have the right product market fit, and you know where a competition is and what is needed and what money is needed, and if it is spent with the right unit economics, not a huge CAC, not a no, and a lifetime value which is much higher than your CAC, I think money
Yeah.
is needed. Absolutely, no doubts in my mind, and that is absolutely a must, a requirement.
Very well. It's so very well. It like okay, Praful sir, like, can we say that securing funding often brings more than just financial resources? Like, obviously, we are not just getting the money, like as we talked from last few minutes. It will be bringing more than that.
Absolutely, undoubtedly, because that comes with a lot of maturity to really execute your plans. At the same time, you are working with the right people, those who understand how they can scale the business and take it to the next level. But of course, they need to understand how to really structure and build the right milestones to really reach to that right scalable position. Because you can't simply expect that only if money is coming in, everything will scale the way we are planning. So they need to know that initially the establishment is very important, the infrastructure and that right architecture of the whole plan is required. So if your plans are good, if you're not that in hurry to really see your company is turning into brand, because building a brand is a different aspiration, and running a proper scalable operation is a completely different thing. It is going to take its own organic time period. So they have to draft it well, and money will definitely give that all right empowerment to execute their plan. Once you have that funding, then you are liberated to do some mistakes also, and you are tend to make mistakes as well. But you should know that where to stop and where to really utilize that the best optimum benefit for the whole scale. So what you say, the proper planning and that proper strategy and that micro level analysis is required to really execute your right scalable. Because maximum
Definitely.
times the startups are failing during the scaling situations. They are able to sustain and they're able to make it reasonable, profitable business. But as soon as you take the scalable plan on the table, you are tend to make mistakes, and you have to ready for that.
Yeah, like often, founders miss these points, and yeah, it's very important. Also, when we talk about funding, the right investor and the valuable insights from the investors comes hand in hand. So I think that point, it's being missing from the mindset of the entrepreneurs these days. Are like any say on that?
See, actually, it's a two different subject. Actually, maximum entrepreneurs don't understand that running a business is a different subject and raising a fund is a different subject, because handling money and creating value out of the shares is different thing. So they need to learn about this whole process as well, because only working on the merit of idea, you cannot simply raise and build business. That's just
Correct.
part of it. You need to know that how this company function, what kind of a board structure you need, what kind of a right people around you required, how the whole process and system will get established. Then you can expect that my foundation is ready and I can really take that bigger resources and bigger responsibility. That comes with bigger responsibility. So unless you don't feel yourself ready for that, I don't suggest that you should only look for a fund. Funding is good to bring that money, because you don't want money to only park in your bank, or you just don't want to take any situation where you are working on a trial error method. It's not. It's a precision. It unique required a very precise plan. Of course, there will be a plus and minuses and challenges, but of course, if you have that right infrastructure and right people who can help you to monitor it rightly, do the right changes and modifications in the right frequency, you can save your all that failures and challenges. So those things are important initially, but of course, the planning is missing or the preparation is missing. If you are directly working on the execution and expecting that there is no monitoring, there are phases people are expecting that money will come. If the business is profitable, they simply miss to even monitor also. Because since the business is profitable, they are happy with that, the kind of profit they are earning. But unless you don't have that a complete structure ready, then it is
Correct.
not advisable even to think about a bigger scale.
Correct. Correct. Definitely. So totally wise words you just shared with us. And Mavi sir, would you like to add something on this?
No, not really. I think I totally agree with this thing. There are two different things. Handling money responsibly, handling money so that it works for the startup, and you feel that it's your own money, not someone else's money, is the
Correct.
best thing to do. And that is a different skill set, that is a different mindset. And I think if I don't see that in the startup, I don't invest. I mean, no amount of investment should be frivolously wasted on things that are not important or realistic, or are being spent because a co-founder wants an exit. There have been cases where people are saying you should take a secondary and then start to co-invest in other startups. If the focus is gone, I wouldn't invest. And I think it's very important to be a responsible manager of the money that you get from other people.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. I would, I think from this session, it's pretty much clear that why securing funding is just not about the financial aspect, but about the strategic advantages and the opportunities it brings to startups. Correct.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
it's just let's just keep this short in scripts, and I would just like to thank both of you both for for the valuable time from the team of Raise Money. Thank you so much for taking out time and attending this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Radhika.
and
Thank you.
thank you. And to the audience, I would like to say that we will be coming up with more such sessions, more such webinars. So stay tuned, and maybe we'll be learning more such things.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Good meeting you.
Same
Bye-bye.
here, Mr. Mahavir.